let's cut to the news, if
All right.
I might. You know, for some years now, you've been sort of seen as the nation's Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, who, you know, forecasted the destruction and you've written a remarkable piece here in the last couple of weeks, which was published in Rolling Stone, which is like a totally different message. Now, let me just read. Pay attention to this. This is really interesting. Al Gore writing, "In the struggle to solve the climate crisis, it is now clear that we will ultimately prevail. There is surprising, even shocking good news." Tell us about the good news from Al Gore. Good news about the climate.
Well, there is good news, and I'm excited by it. Let me say that I've always believed that we would eventually solve the climate crisis. The question has been how much damage will be done during the period of procrastination and denial that is still ongoing. What is different now is that the speed with which widely distributed renewable energy generation has developed and become cheaper and more efficient has surprised most people. Maybe not everyone, but I'm in the group that was surprised by how fast it has come down in price. Here's a startling fact. Photovoltaic electricity is now equal to or cheaper than the grid average, the average price of electricity from all other sources in 79 countries. We are seeing a steady drop of 15 to 20% per year in the cost of photovoltaic electricity. It has now crossed that threshold point. And by the way, in markets, there's a pretty significant difference between more expensive than and cheaper than. It's not unlike the difference between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 33 degrees Fahrenheit. It represents a difference between markets that are frozen up and markets that are liquid, with capital flowing fully toward investment opportunities that become more attractive year by year. Battery technology has also been coming down in price, not as quickly, but just as steadily, and now is right at the break-even point where people are going to choose to go off-grid. These developments, David, are so significant that the electric utility industry worldwide now regularly talks in their own meetings and open conferences about what they call the utility death spiral. It's not unlike what happened to the landline telephone businesses. They're really in disarray now because mobile phones are a widely distributed alternative.
So, you know, a lot of the conventional wisdom has been solar and power are nice, but they're going to be years, decades away. We're going to have to depend on fossil fuels the rest of our lives. But what you're saying is there's a revolution underway that is going to bring this on much faster than we expected. I was quite struck in your piece about Germany and how much progress they're making.
Yeah, one day last month, Germany got 76% of all of its electricity from wind and solar. Their average is now up to 37. That was an unusual day, but their average is up to 37. And by the way, they're pretty far north, and they have a lot of clouds, and their average will soon be up to 50%. And we're seeing this happen in places all over the world. And the conventional wisdom on photovoltaics, as you correctly described it, I believe it is typical of the way most of us are often fooled by exponential technology curves. If you look at the history of the deployment of photovoltaics, it advanced very slowly for a long time, and then the elbow of the curve started upwards, and then it just started zooming upwards. In Bangladesh, for example, there are now 2 new rooftop photovoltaic systems installed every minute. 24 hours a day. It's the fastest growing per capita market for photovoltaics. In East Africa and West Africa, it's poised for what most people are saying is going to be explosive growth. And let me give you an analogy that helps explain this for those of us who have been surprised. I remember when the first clunky mobile handset telephones came out. I like to be an early adopter. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I thought those things were so cool looking. Boy, you look at the pictures now, they look so silly. But I remember when those early models came out, AT&T did an international market survey and projected that they'd be able to sell 900,000 of them by the year 2000. Well, they were not only wrong, they were way wrong. They sold 109 million that year. Now there's 6.8 billion contracts, another 1.25 billion per year. So why were they way wrong? Four reasons quickly. They did not fully understand the implications of the exponential curve, and that the price down curve would be matched by an up curve in the quality such that mobile phones are often supercomputers now, and in places like Africa, they're used for commerce way more than we use them in the U.S. Third, they didn't count on the fact that the purchasing decisions were being made by individuals, not centralized institutions like utilities. And fourth, they didn't calculate the impact of the absence of landline telephone grids in these developing countries. So those same four factors are present in the developing world and all around the world today. The new Prime Minister of India, Modi, just announced, he was just took office last week, that the 400 million Indians who have no electricity at all are all going to get it, this is his promise, by relying on photovoltaic electricity. And this is typical of what's happening in developing countries.